I was talking to somebody about that Kevin Samuels show with the detractors. I had sent that video around to a boatload of people. Because I wanted to know what their opinion was on what was being said, and I wanted to see if they picked up on what I picked up on, or some of the key offenders, in that video. And just based by the guy's accent, he sounded like he was from New York. But there was one guy in there who basically said that he's high value because he's able to pull tens. He's able to pull bad bitches. And this is a serious problem where you get people who, and women do it too, but I'm talking about the men right now, where you get these guys that think because they were able to pull bad bitches off of Big Dicks and Swag in high school, before a woman really, came into her own or doesn't realize how pretty she is or what she can get for her beauty, they capitalize on it. They were, they probably took her virginity. They were the first ones to hit it or whatever. And they kind of stay there and they relish in that. And no matter how old they get, they enter their 30s, they're not making any money, and they'll still be sitting there talking about the bad bitches that they pulled back in high school, off of the strength of what high school standards are, which are like popularity contests and shit like that. It's like, yo, once you're over 25, like, you not going to be out here pulling bad bitches like that without having your ducks in a row. You're just not. And it's like, you get women who do the same thing. I talked about this. You get women who, there'll be some drunk Eagles player at a bar. It's his last call. He sees a chick, it's the let out. It's 2:00 in the morning. The club's closing up, and he sees a chick. She's good enough. Takes her home, bangs her, and then now that chick will think, like, I fuck with Eagles players. Like, I'm a bad bitch, enough to fuck with Eagles players. Like, no, chick, that's not your level. That's not your actual level. You were just good enough for the night. And so you get these people that, they everybody wants to, appraise themselves at a higher value than they actually are. And I just think it's freaking delusional, but that's what they want to do. But anyway, I was talking about the guy on the Kevin show that said, I fuck tens, so I'm high value. And the other person that I showed it to, who was a woman, she picked up on that as well. He was like, just because you bang bad bitches makes you, a high value dude. He was so dumb with it. He was talking about, fucking a bitch on the couch, and it was just nonsense. But I said to her, I was like, remember what I told you a long time ago about, why, men will judge your past, or why men will feel some type of way about who a woman fucks, or the caliber of men that a woman fucks, because it's an ego thing. And I talked about how a lot of these guys, and I've come across a couple of them, like they'll, not have a college degree, didn't go to college, and I'm just using college as a benchmark. But I've seen these guys, they'll sit there and they'll be like, yeah, I'm on par with my girl because my girl's got degrees and she's got a master's and a PhD, and, I'm on par with her because I was able to pull her. And that's how they view it. I was able to pull her. So not only is he on par with her in his mind because he was able to pull her, but he's also on par with the caliber of men that she should actually be dealing with, right? The other men that are educated or whatever. Those are the men that she should actually be dealing with. But see, it comes down to, well, not only was I able to pull her, so I'm on her level, even though I'm not, I was able to pull the type of female that you fucking lames should be out here getting. So I'm on par with you. Ain't no difference. I could pull the same type of women that you could pull. So what's the difference? That's how they process the information. And this is one of the areas of why ELs will be very judgmental about, what's wifey material and what's not wifey material based on who a woman goes out here and sleeps with. Look, men don't really care about whether you get something legally or illegally. It doesn't hold water. You can file a complaint, but it doesn't hold water. If dude goes out and gets a BMW legitimately, it doesn't matter. A drug dealer can go out there and get a BMW illegitimately. You know what I mean? Or it's the stupid thing is I shouldn't even be using drug dealers because these guys that are talking this crazy, they're not even drug dealers. They may have a little tiny side hustle or something, but nothing substantial. And they'll what am I saying about them thinking that they're on par and all this other stuff and their little side hustle. I've lost my train of thought of what I was going to say. But anyway, they think that they're, on par, with these, the men that are getting it, remember, legitimately. And so women become the commodity. And this is about egos, and it's shallow if you want to say that it's shallow. I'm not disputing that. But women are the commodity or the currency when it comes to a lot of male ego. No dude, as I've said before, wants to be told, because this is what these men will do. Not only am I on par with you because I was able to pull, the chicks or that are in the caliber or league that you're in, but I got her off of the strength of nothing. Which makes the EL feel like a sucker. And nobody wants to feel like a sucker. That you paid for something that nobody else paid for. It's the equivalent of the club line. When you got, the group in front of you, oh, right this way, sir. They get in for free. You're like, and you're sitting there looking at them like, ain't no better than me. And yet when you go and step up in line, they're like, $20 cover, sir. If you're the group of women, I know women have experienced that. Or what's even more fucked up is when you get a bouncer that's like, okay, you and you can get in free, but your friend, nah, she got to pay. That type of situation. Which is, and this is the area, sometimes ego can get so inflated. Like, I didn't care for what Kevin Samuels said in one of his videos where he was talking to a woman who, she had already had a kid, divorced, all that stuff. And I don't even know if she was divorced. But anyway, she already had a kid. And she was shutting it down. And she wasn't going to be promiscuous. And Kev kind of put it out there like, well, you already gave the pussy up to somebody else, so you might as well give it up to some lame. I was like, that's kind of foul. I get the sentiment. Don't get me wrong. I agree with it. It is fucking irritating, when a woman, goes out there and she's all willy-nilly and then, she suddenly becomes woke. And then now all of a sudden you're like the test experiment for, her, abstinence. Like, that shit is irritating. Especially when that the men that she gave it up to were low quality, right? But people would argue, oh, well, it's just arrogance for you to think that you're any better than anybody else. Fuck it, that's the way it is. There's levels to the shit, plain and simple. The other thing is the other part of the ego aspect is, if a chick is out there fucking with bullshit dudes or has a bullshit dude's baby, then your own ego comes into question. Like, if she is fucking with ain't shit dudes, then she must be ain't shit. And if you're fucking with her, then that means that you must not be shit. You must be ain't shit. You see? And so a lot of dudes, like, they'll have a fantasy about a chick or whatever, and then once they discover that, they'll write it off. And so that whole aspect of, I got your chick off of the strength of nothing and you're paying for X, Y, and Z, that rubs dudes the wrong way. And the whole idea of how dudes will think that they're on par with another man simply because they have access to the same type of women, that's another area where the ego gets bruised. And I don't have a problem with men having egos. This is how you maintain, standards. I have no problem with women having egos. That's how you maintain standards. I think a lot of the problem that exists in the black community is you got people who want to have egos, you know what I'm saying, and they've already fucked up, so to speak. They've already sullied or soiled their reputations. It's why I tell women, I'm like, yo, all you got to do is move, leave. I'm saying if you can, go to a new area. You can start all over. Ain't nobody got to know your past. You know what I mean? Keep that shit to yourself. All this sharing and everything, do not share. Because men judge. I'm trying to help you out. I'm telling you that men judge. This is one of the issues with Cardi B. I'm like, wait, you got with Offset? And see, the other dangerous thing about the whole Cardi B conversation is you get people that get into this, well, just because a man has money doesn't mean that he has good character. It's like, no, the issue is not Offset has money and he has piss poor character. No, the issue is the fact that Offset is a street nigga. And a lot of the shit that all that promiscuity and all that other stuff, that shit is not a part of street culture. I mean, it's a part of, ratchet behavior. So, it's like people don't recognize this. But, as it pertains to the whole ego aspect, women are the one thing in the world that another man cannot have access to. It's like, there's nothing, I don't want to say I love more, but there's nothing that's more like reinforcing, like positive reinforcement. Like if you walk into a bar with a beautiful woman that you're with or whatever, everybody looking at her, right? And then, you're whining and dining and everything else, you could probably feel, cause yeah, she's a bad bitch, of course everybody's going to look or whatever. And then you get up to go to the bathroom or something. And see, that's when dusty niggas will try. They'll jump up and they'll try to slide into it on the slide. Like, yeah, why you with this motherfucker? Da 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 da. Which I'd say generally speaking doesn't happen to me because I'm big. But I mean, has it happened in the past? Oh yeah, sure it's happened. And they'll try. And then you come back and the woman will be like, this guy was hitting on me, da 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 da. And it's like, oh really? Tell me about it. You know what I'm saying? But when she doesn't go for that, it's like, yeah, motherfucker, like, you can't have access to her. You're not on my level, right? That's the ego contest. No, you can't have her. Because, like I said, everything else, all the other material things can be acquired. Legally or illegally, it doesn't matter. They can be acquired. That's why you see all these drug dealers out here going and buying the big body Benz and the corporate executive vehicle. They're trying to show that think about it. Like, what? Yeah, S-Class is a great vehicle, but I'm saying, think about like just the whole, I'm like, every other thing is, oh nigga, that's Eurocentric this, Eurocentric that. But notice them BMWs ain't Eurocentric that niggas be riding around in. Them S-Class Mercedes-Benz ain't Eurocentric that niggas be riding around in. You know what I'm saying? Ain't none of that shit Eurocentric, right? Because they're trying to prove, they're imitating, look, quiet as is kept, just like the Italian mob. They're trying to imitate legitimacy. Hey, I got what they got, right? But they have the value, the credibility and everything because they are legitimate. It's something that street hustlers and drug dealers and all that other stuff, they don't get that. They don't get the legitimacy. So, but many of them are going to try to come off like, yeah, motherfucker, I got what you got. What? Okay. But that whole access to women thing, that's a whole different level. Yeah. All right, motherfucker. But used to like, she's like, it's weird because it's like women have power in being the final judgment, on that. And that's what people don't understand. Like, that's why sometimes I look at sisters, I'm like, man, if y'all, okay, I'm not parking here. Like, I do not need dents in my door. Okay, like, it's like, if sisters came around and said, we are only giving pussy, to black men that are producing and everything else, like, I think a lot of shit would turn around. Not absolutely everything, But a lot of shit would turn around. I only give them ass to niggas that are doing well. I wish that was the standard. I don't have a problem with women saying that. But there is an ugly transition period right now where dudes have already seen women in action, and they resent the fact that they're being expected to pay full price on women that are, they're not even at their full potential. But the women think that, just because they say, I deserve this or I deserve that they're going to get it. Maybe they could have said that at one time, but because all that, fuckery with Dusties and Pookies and everything didn't play out, now they want to sit there and talk about what they feel they deserve and demand and everything else like that. And it's like, you're not there anymore. So you get into nasty conversations when having that, because, women are just going to interpret it like, no, you're not going to tell us what we don't deserve and this, that, and the third. This is, honestly, these conversations are really for the young women, the new women, so that they know and they don't fall in the fucking trap of this shit. But, what was I going to say about the whole ego thing and whatnot? It's just, I just wish that women would just be aware of this. Whether you want to practice it or not is up to you, but be aware of this. That men do judge you based on, the other men that you deal with. And in large part, and there's this gap. Street culture has been promoted in the black community, and no other community, as has been pointed out numerous times, no other community, elevates, its underworld like the black community. Now, I'm not even saying that that's entirely black people's fault, because, we know, who controls the channels of the media and who doesn't want to promote positivity and who loves to promote negativity. And then when the negativity, reaps its damage, then they want to sit there and say, oh, well, y'all promote negativity and this, that, and the third, right? But you got record labels, sitting up there saying, hey, we're only promoting ratchetness, right? It's a way to keep black people down. But that's a whole different conversation. I'm saying that, I do wish that you had women that showed, a bit more discretion and understood this. There's nothing, I don't want to say there's nothing more valuable to a man, but it is damn valuable when you got a woman and she's attractive and she's beautiful, and these sorry ass motherfuckers, these Dusties, these contributing, non-building, non-community oriented black men, do not have access to your woman. That's a beautiful thing. It feels good. And again, yes, it's catering to the evil black man's ego, as Aisha would say. But it's a beautiful thing. And that shit like that, causes men to have more respect for women. Like, hey man, this ain't no hoe. You know what I mean? And yes, you do have some men that are just foul across the board and they don't get it. But again, we're talking about high value men. They get that. Like, man, this chick ain't no fucking hoe, looks good, childless, ain't putting herself out there. Oh, this is wifey material. That's why the term even exists of what wifey material is. Men compartmentalize women. And we don't play that, isn't she deserving of love? Isn't she deserving of this? And can she course correct? What about her mistakes? And like I said, there's all this promotion about women course correcting and not being their mistakes and all that other stuff. But the women who've never made a mistake, none of those black women get promoted by black women. None of those black women get highlighted and talked about. The women that, got married and were childless and are happily married and relate, they don't get talked about. They get ignored. We elevate, the course correction women more than the women, that should be the standard, to where women are inspired to try to be like those women, to where they wouldn't even need to course correct because they actually have a positive role model to follow. But instead, we out here bigging up Cardi B and Nicki Minaj and Megan Thee Stallion and all this ratchet shit. You know, and then the women that can actually transition out, you know, they totally switch up. Whether it's Eve or whether it's Sierra, you know, I don't care for fucking Sierra and her duplicitous nature and all that stuff, and the way that, you know, Russell Wilson ain't got no goddamn game, which is why his freaking white ex-wife cheated on him with his teammate, and why he took that stupid ass picture with his ass in Sierra's face while holding her belly, all type of simp shit. Okay, she lucked out. She got herself a simp. She lucked out. But see, the thing is, the one area I cannot shit on Sierra about is Sierra always looks classy. Sierra speaks well, and Sierra knows how to dress and carry herself. I mean, I'm saying she looks the part. She looks the part. Cardi B, you know, Black China. You know what I'm saying? Y'all see Black China in the fucking Tekashi 6ix9ine video with the sprinkles all over her fake ass. That ain't even all that tight, by the way. Like, it's just like her skin, like it's like got the lumpy bumpy shit going on. You know what I'm saying? Like really, Rob? Really? You know what I mean? But that's a white dude, so fuck him. You know what I'm saying? Like, we ain't got nothing to do with that. You know what I mean? But, you know, that type of shit, like, nah. I mean, the reality is EL, access to your wife that's a quality woman is the one thing that quote unquote low quality men, you know, either don't have access to or arguably shouldn't have access to. And once that shit goes out there and gets with those low quality men, essentially, you know, it's like they're the great equalizer. You know, I mean, I'm saying if women are out here choosing Dusties or Pookies and ELs, like they're all just the same in the same pot, how can an EL, you know, assert himself and say, I am more valuable, I am a producer, I am a provider, I am this, if women don't value it? This is why you end up with dudes that end up hopping the fence and going out there and getting with other races of women who do value it and do recognize the shit. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no non-black woman gonna be sitting up there with some brother that could afford to buy a $500,000 home talking about he ain't winning no race war or some shit like that. You know, I mean, if you can minimally provide the lifestyle that they're accustomed to, a lot of them are cool with it. That's as deep as they think about the shit. But you got women that got all that power dynamics. They want to fight with you over power. They got to find some way to dismiss men, you know, that are on and established and making money and got resources and everything else, because they really can't bring themselves to quote unquote submit to a black man. So that's like their whole out. That's their exit. You know, well, you don't control the economic landscape of the community, or you black men, you haven't won a race war, or just so you know, there's some, you know, obscure, you know, black child in the community getting raped and pillaged by Ray Ray and Pookie. You need to go handle that. Until you handle that, this problem that I've identified way over here in the corner, you know, we're not going to respect you. You know, and that's another reason why you end up with these guys that, you know, they say, fuck it. And they go, and, you know, because the reality is that, you know, yes, this is the white man system and the economy and capitalism and everything else and whatnot. And, you know, unfortunately, you know, a black man can go somewhere else and be valued for that. I mean, this is one of the problems when it comes to, you know, little boys in the black community. People say, well, why is it little black boys, you know, when they get on, they get out the community and they leave and everything? Because what they are is not valued. When it comes to black women or black girls, they say, why are they less quick to dip out of the community? Is it because of some racial love and everything? No, because they got vaginas. They got vaginas. At the end of the day, if a black woman has a vagina, which they all do, right? They're going to have men, you know, solicit them. They're going to have men try to holler at them. Even the nerdy black women. We talk about nerdy black women. Why don't ELs get with their female counterparts and all that other shit? Okay, those women still have value in the community. Pookie is still going to try to holler. He's at the very least still going to try to smash. Or Dusty's, they're still going to try to smash. And for a woman that, maybe let's say she's deprived of attention or whatever, or thirst or whatnot, it's hard for, young black women to shake that shit. When dudes are trying to holler at them and everything else like that. That's why you'll still see, women who got straight A's and they're still, swimming around fucking with dudes that they shouldn't be fucking with. You know what I mean? Because, of the insecurities and, the attention that they're getting and all that other shit. So they'll sit there and be engaged in that. But where if you're a black boy and you're an EL, you don't have no value at all until you start making money. You have no value at all. In a community that whose dominant culture, is everything that is not you. You represent white culture. You don't represent inner city black culture, which is the majority of the culture, which is what's overwhelmingly, promoted in the media and whatnot. So it's easy for a black boy to just dip and go somewhere else, and he starts, getting the inklings of being valued. And I'm not saying being valued in the sense of like, other races and all other stuff. They value, black men to the fullest. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, as a rule, they don't throw away men who can provide. Just the same way as a rule, many of these other races know that Pookie is for fun. You know what I'm saying? There's plenty of women that they out there. How many babies does Pookie have? How many babies does Offset have? How many babies does Offset have? Does he have more than one, or does he just have one? I believe he only has one. I could be wrong about that, but I believe he only has one. How come none of the other women got pregnant by Offset? Why did they get, do the whole meal ticket thing? You know what I'm saying? Like, again, a lot of other women know, because I'm pretty sure there was some non-black women in there that not Offset was fucking. But I'm saying a lot of other women know that, you don't have babies by these dudes. You don't get married to these dudes. They're for fun. That's what they're for. And that's why in the long run, they tend to win more than a lot of African American black women. You don't go out there and have niggas babies, that's on that type of shit, living that type of lifestyle. You don't do that. The same thing that Captain Solo's grandmother said about the women that were out there, in the 80s getting pregnant by drug dealers. She was like, if you really wanted to play the game, you would go and you would get pregnant by a dude that's on the books. You go and you get pregnant by a dude that works for General Motors, that had full medical and dental. That's who you get pregnant by. You know what I'm saying? You don't get pregnant by some dude that's out here with illegal activity and not on the books, and then the state's running around trying to arrest him and shit, and he ain't had a job since 1985. Like, come on. But I'm just giving some insight. Y'all can take it or leave it. Pick what you want, instead of throwing the baby out with the bathwater. But this is the way that it is. I mean, y'all really don't understand how valuable that is to a man, because I'm saying ELs already don't get promotion in the media. That is something that ELs definitely need to work on. We need to control our own media and promote our own image. But the woman that you're with, that's the one with all the promotion that Pookie and Street and Dusty's and all that shit get. That's the one thing in this world that an EL can feel like, yeah, I got over on this motherfucker, or that caters to his ego. Even if he has a business and this, that, and the third, it doesn't amount to anything if the women don't value it, if it has no value in the community, if nobody respects it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, okay, it lets you, buy nice cars and live a comfortable lifestyle, but like, if it has no value, if it has no value to anybody else but yourself, it's meaningless. I mean, that's just flat out, like, you know, the reality of the shit. It is meaningless. And I don't know any other way to put it. I'm trying to think of other ways to put it, but I don't know any other way to put it. But all this ties back to the main reason why a lot of dudes, that are in the EL category, they judge you because of your past. It's like, damn, this motherfucker had access to you. Cause they know, cause I told y'all. I'm like, street niggas, Dusties, Pookie, whatever, them motherfuckers can get downright disrespectful. I mean, we've seen all this shit, all this, you see, they do it to each other. You seen this shit with Lil Wayne and who's the other dude, Tristan or something, the basketball player or something like that. Motherfuckers call, yeah, nigga, I fucked your wife. All that shit they be talking about on the Shade Room. Some black celebrity, and then there's always some other nigga in the background like, yeah, nigga, I fucked your wife, nigga. Like, you know what I'm saying? I was in them guts. You know what I'm saying? I got that bitch off the street. That's my throwaway, nigga. I got that bitch off with the strength of nothing. And your dumb simp, bitch ass, dumb ass self went out there and wifed that hoe up. You know what I'm saying, man? We was passing that bitch around, blah, blah, blah. They do shit like that. And that shit is not a good feeling. It is not a good feeling. I had that happen to me one time. I was fucking with this chick, you know what I mean? And I came to find out, man, I swear like the whole basketball team hit this bitch. You know what I'm saying? It was nothing that I was really elevating, but I was just like, I felt sick to my stomach after that shit. Like, yeah, nigga, like literally, like I'm on the basketball court, crossing over and shit. You know what I mean? And motherfuckers like, yeah, nigga, how was so-and-so, man? We saw you leave with so-and-so. And I was like, huh? Yeah. And then next thing you know, like 10 minutes of the basketball game went by, and motherfucker was like, yeah, I'm just letting you know what I'm saying? I hit that shit. This black dude, he was like, yeah, I hit that shit. Then a white dude came through, he was like, yeah, I hit that shit too. And I was like, oh my God, man. I was so glad I ran up in that with a condom. But I'm just saying, man, that was, I was sitting there, feeling good, like, yeah, I pulled something. This is when I was real young. I pulled something, chest out and everything. And this joint was a smutty joint. Yeah, that's a Philly expression. She was a smutty joint. And I was like, oh, man. And I'll tell you what, that shit was a learning experience for me. Man, and to this day, I mean, I'm telling y'all about it, man. That shit don't feel good at all. It does not feel good. That's why you see these dudes freaking out. They go out there and they meet a chick, they fall all in love and shit. They pop, she gets pregnant, she pops out his babies and everything. And then you come to find out that all the niggas, on this side of town done hit it. Oh, nigga, what? Stacy? Oh, my nigga, man, we all been with Stacy. You come to find out, she for them streets, man. She the community bicycle. You like, oh, hell no. And I'm saying it don't even have to be that extreme. She don't got to be the woman that everybody in the community has access to. But I'm saying if you out here, you're trying to fight the stereotype and beat the odds. You know what I'm saying? You trying to out here, you trying to do something positive and shit. And you got all these street dudes that get all this respect, all these Dusties that, they're like halfway between being street and, it's like they're Pookie, but they're not. They don't have Pookie savviness. Like, I'll give Pookie more credit than just these Dusties, because at least Pookie knows that it's about the money. You're not going to hear a whole bunch of real Pookies talk about it's not about the money, because they out there hustling and shit. Okay, I'll give them that much credit or that much respect. But when it comes to these, like, just the, the guys that you heard calling Kevin's show, which let me be clear, even some of those guys were on some, they were ELs, but they were on some mediocrity shit. So I should have thrown them in there as well, because they're in there as well. The guy, I just, like, I'm like, okay, dude, I understand you went to college, but you stopped at your bachelor's. You're not on par with the motherfucker that's got the PhD or the MD or the JD. You're not on par with them. What don't you understand about that? You know what I mean? So across the board, you have this category of black men that's just like, it's like, these are not the men that should be recognized or rewarded or acknowledged. You know, especially coming from women that want to identify 50 million problems in the black community. I'm like, why are you giving the men that can't fix the problem all the goddamn attention? And I'm saying even the so-called high value ELs, you know, we're not perfect, right? But I'm saying, you know, again, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Certain things can be reformed. Certain, like, just as we've had all these conversations, certain things have been brought to our attention. Okay, motherfucker, you want to work with you don't want to work with Pookie. Okay, what excuse do you have for not working with each other? Valid question. That's a damn good point. How come Pookie can be better organized and work together with other Pookies than a bunch of, you know, professionally educated ELs? What's up with that shit? You know what I mean? They're looking better than you in that category. And arguably, that could be used to justify why the women say that, you know, we're fucking with those guys because they got more going on than y'all got going on at the collective level. This goes back to what Thugtician said a long time ago, where he came through and he said, you know, that the problem is that the closest thing to a black male hierarchy or power structure in the black community is Ray Ray and Pookie. They're the most visible. So that's what women gravitate towards. That's the power structure that they see. Where are EL's power structure? So don't act like I'm ignoring that. I'm fully acknowledging all of that. I fully acknowledge all of that. You see. But what was I gonna say? About you know, these ELs, and what was I saying about the Pookies and the Dusties and all these other dudes? I'm just saying, women should not be, you know, entertaining those dudes. And once dudes find that out, you know, I mean, it really just, it shatters everything. You know, it's like, damn, I'm out here doing this, doing that, working for this, working for that, you know, and, you know, you're just ignored by your community. Like, there's no, I mean, that's just what it is. Like, it's like, you motherfucker can talk about how kick-ass he is, and, you know, if there's no family there, or if there's no envy or jealousy of, you know, hey, you know, I'm trying to be like this dude who's like active in the community. I see him coming through, and, you know, he's got this and got that, and look at the women that he's with, and yada, yada, yada. If that's not there, again, as has already been assessed, you know, who wants to be an EL? I mean, look at the title, EL, educated lame. Look at the title. Who wants to be that? And I'm just using EL because it's too confusing to sit there and come up with different terms. We know what we're talking about, generally speaking, when we're having these discussions. You know, who wants to be that? I mean, so that you can flip this and talk about, you know, with women and shit like that. You know, if you got dudes out here getting with nothing but hoes and shit like that, and then, you know, the women that are single and childless and maintaining themselves are just getting ignored or whatever, it's like, well, damn, why am I doing all this? You know, and I remember that's happened before. One woman said, you know, shit, I might as well have just gotten fat and pregnant. You know what I mean? I mean, this whole preserving yourself doesn't even seem to have any payoff. And that's the worst thing. Like, when you want to talk about fixing the community and patriarchy and all that other shit, the last thing you want is for the men who are in the position to be the builders to feel like there's no payoff. Because you're only either going to get them either A, shutting down, or B, hopping the fence. When they feel like there's no fucking payoff. That's what I'm saying. Like, I look at like some of the sisters that identify these problems, and I'm like, what are you doing? You identified the problem, and then you're like out here doing shit that is the opposite of contributing to the solution. What are you doing? You know, like, it's nuts. But I'm just telling you, this is one of the reasons why a lot of men, you know, the EL camp, whatever, that they have a problem with, you know, women, you know, in their past and who they go out there and they fucking get with. It's not just a matter of, oh, you just been run through and all that stuff. Like, it's a direct problem with the woman. No, it's the dudes. Because them dudes, like, again, that guy on Kevin's show basically tried to act like a dude is fucking can be homeless and he's on par with a cardiologist. Like, are you fucking kidding me? You know what I mean? Like Kev said, like, you can have, like, motherfucker, you got people out here that are they got all the moral character in the world and serve the Most High, and they're homeless. Like, that shit does not equate to high value. Like, y'all, like, and this reminds me of the women that would always try to turn a beauty contest into a spelling bee. You know what I mean? Like, they sit there and, they talk about, how, well, I mean, she may not be the most beautiful, but she can spell mitochondria right. She can spell paramecium correctly. It's like the fuck? She can spell psychology correctly. Like, it's like, oh, no. This is a beauty contest. This is not about a spelling bee. This is not about, like, what she really thinks about fucking world peace. This is about which bitch is the finest bitch up there. Judges judge. Like, and women used to try to do that type of shit. And men are trying to do the same thing when it comes to, money and all that. And I'm totally against that. I'm like, no, there are levels to the shit. And see, once you get to the point where you start just breaking down all the levels and you start, like, you just kill all incentive for people to strive higher and achieve better and do great things. This is why all the people that talk about, smash capitalism, eliminate capitalism. Okay, well, how are you going to incentivize people to invent inventions and shit? How do you incentivize that shit? How do you incentivize, okay, everybody's equalized, smash capitalism. Okay, well, how do you incentivize somebody, going off and being a doctor and if they're going to be paid the same amount as somebody who's a cashier? Like, how do you incentivize people to excel when you just want to equalize everything and say everything's on the same level? How does that work? There's levels to the shit. And I've already talked about how the black community really tries to act like class doesn't exist in the black community, or that it shouldn't exist in the black community. Don't get me wrong, certain people that are running around with their noses in the air and acting all bougie, it's like, motherfucker, if you really want respect, you got to do more than what you're doing. If you want community level respect, then yeah, you do need to enhance other people's lives in the community. That way you'll get fucking respect. Same way that Kenny Gamble in Philadelphia has respect. Look at what Kenny Gamble has done, for the black community in the city of Philadelphia. You see, again, like, you got motherfuckers that will die for Kenny Gamble because of what he's done, what he's contributed to, the way he's put people on. You see? But, how many black leaders are actually doing that? And I got a comment from a brother, he in my comment section talking about he making $3.5 million a year, talking about, I don't know if I'm high value or not, but this is my 2 cents. I'm like, 3.5 million this year? Like, come on, man. Don't play with me. I'm just saying, like, the whole value system and the way people fight it and buck it and in the way people contribute to things that shouldn't be valued being valued over things that should be the standard, it's crazy to me. It's crazy to me. Like I said, you got people talking about, women are not their mistakes, talking about single mothers. Okay, well, what do you have to say about women who never made a mistake? What are they if women who've made mistakes are not their mistakes? How do you put a woman who's never made a mistake? How do you put a woman who's made a mistake on par with a woman who's never made a mistake? How do you do that? How do you equalize those two things? That's like putting a dude with no felonies on par, or a dude with felonies on par with a dude with no felonies. There's obviously disadvantages to one versus the other. But everybody talks about, we want a better community. We want this. Why can't we get this? That's why I like looking at the whole Cardi B situation. And I'm like, that nuclear traditional family shit does not come with fucking street shit. I don't know what all this fitting a square peg in a round hole bullshit is. It doesn't come with that. Everybody's trying to be this ghetto fabulous and bring ratchetness into a nuclear family, and somehow, they're out here promoting all this ratchetness, and somehow they're gonna like have this shit where it's like unscathed. Like they're just unscathed in all this shit. And the crazy thing with Cardi B is I'm like, she's out here, everybody's like, oh, cape, throwing on dry clean capes for Cardi B and whatnot. And I'm like, and she's out here promoting music to little black girls, dark-skinned black girls, about how to be fucking ratchet and wet-ass pussy. And I'm like, but yet there's capes coming out for her. This woman is promoting detrimental shit in and to the black community, and there's capes coming out. You think the Hispanic community tolerates her shit? Like I said in the other video that I did. Oh please, they don't tolerate that shit. She ain't gonna be talking like that at the fucking at the Latin awards and whatnot. She ain't gonna be coming out with all that ratchet. She gonna be trying to act as sophisticated as she possibly can by keeping her mouth shut when the cameras are on her, and just being humble and saying thank you, and it's wonderful being here, and this is such a marvelous venue, if she even has venue in her vocabulary. That's about it. They are not gonna have her up there sticking her tongue out, twerking. No, bitch, no. This is the Latin Awards. You're saying we got Ricky Martin over here, we got Jennifer Lopez over here, we got Iglesias over here, bitch. Like, this is not nigga shit, okay, bitch? Understand that. I understand that you Dominican and everything, and you got them half nigga genes in you, but this ain't nigga shit. That's how they're gonna be. You know what I'm saying? Don't bring that negrito shit over here, right? You want to, the reggaeton section is over there. Go over there and bring all that rakataka shit over there. That's how they be talking. Remember, you talking about a group of people that's on that mejorar la raza. That bullshit. So, it's like, but in the black community, Cardi B, and she deserves, and, she shouldn't have been with this person and everything, and she could upgrade, and, she should have done this and done that. Why are the capes coming out? Why are people knocking me over? Why do I hear all this swooshing sounds going on? What is with all the swooshing? What is with the swooshing? You know what I'm saying? Like whether Cardi B married or Offset married a black woman or not, the outcome would have been the same. You think the outcome would have been any different if he married a black woman? It wouldn't have been any different. That's because that's the type of dude that he is. That's what comes with that. And I know what women are identifying. They're identifying with the idea that, well, I mean, she had the baby, and she she wants, this is what she wanted. She just wants to be happy with her man and her baby, and he just needs to be faithful and not running in other bitches and being disrespectful with it and blah 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 blah. Yeah, I'll agree with that. You know what I mean? But again, trying to fit square pegs in round holes, like, it doesn't fit. You know what I mean? Like, that shit doesn't fit. Remember that game, that pop-up game? Well, we used to play that shit in the fucking 80s, but, the game with the little timer, they probably still have it. And then you got to put all the pieces in the shit before the shit pops. What was that game called? I forget what the game was called. You know what I'm saying? But I'm like, yeah, like you get people that trying to put the star where the square is and the fucking circle where the triangle is. I'm like, yo, it doesn't fit there. Can't you, see the shit? Don't you have any spatial orientation? It doesn't fit there. Why are you trying to fit it there? And they cannot get that part. It's crazy. It's crazy to me. I'm like, how do you not see this train? I saw this train wreck coming in slow motion, and Nicki Minaj gonna be the next one. I guarantee it. I put money on the table. Nicki Minaj gonna be the next one. Motherfucker already doing stupid shit. She on a live stream. This nigga fucking in the background, as a felon with the fucking stick hanging out of his damn pocket and shit, out of his back pocket, 33 round stick, some fun mags sticking out the back of his pocket. I'm like, oh my God, man, Nicki, like, the fuck? And then once women have these guys, babies, it's like, okay, not only are you on some matriarchal shit, you're also, I mean, you're telling the world, like, this is where you're at. That's another thing with the whole Cardi B situation. I mean, people are projecting on the Cardi B. Maybe Offset, obviously that's what she wanted. And maybe to stay there is what she wanted. Like, that's a whole nother thing. Like, a lot of these women, we've already talked about this. You get a lot of women, they don't necessarily want an EL. What they want is they want Pookie to behave. But the crazy thing is, everything about Pookie that makes Pookie attractive and desirable is not conducive to Pookie behaving. They get with Pookie because Pookie's a rebel. Then when they have a baby and everything, they think Pookie's supposed to just click over and just start behaving and shit and fall in line. And I'm like, doesn't work like that. What are you doing? Yeah, I mean, you hear dudes do, again, compartmentalization. Niggas don't try it. What did we say? Don't turn a hoe into a housewife. Even street dudes say that shit. Don't turn a hoe into a housewife. And it's like, I don't even know what business Offset had having her baby, but it clearly, he was intent on doing what the fuck he was going to do. I don't know what the criteria that, street dudes have when it comes to wifey. It seems like some of them, get it, like they also compartmentalize, and then other ones, they're just like, I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do. I don't know. I'm not a street dude. I don't understand or know how they operate or how they gauge women or what they value or what they're willing to marry for those that do get married. I don't know. I don't even understand the purpose of getting married. I'm like, what legacy is it? Just, I mean, what is it? Just a byproduct of fucking? Because that's how I believe most of these women most of these children come into the world, just byproduct of fucking. And it ain't got nothing to do with children actually being planned. Like, they trying to, like, make moves and do some dynasty shit. It's like, nah, I got the baddest bitch I could get. We was fucking. I was hitting shit raw. And then, freaking, a week later, she's like throwing up in the toilet and shit like that. And then she's telling me that, she thinks that she's pregnant and got to get a pregnancy test. And, okay, she's pregnant, and, that cycle just keeps on happening until next thing you know, they got 3 or 4 kids. And I don't doubt that there's probably a couple abortions in there too. So I'm like, it's 2020. The internet is here. Everybody sees fucking everything. The catalog of failed relationships versus successful relationships. Like, anybody should be able to sit there and make a collage, or what do you want to call it? What's the word that I'm looking for? I can't think of the word that I'm looking for. They can sit there and they can map out, what works and what doesn't work. They should be able to do that, with all the examples. Okay, well, this didn't work. It's stupid that people use celebrities, but I understand because they're visible. But, it's like, some people, they go out here and they want to ignore that. But anyway, I guess I'm done with this video. That's all I wanted to say. But yes, it is about, the male ego when it comes to selecting women. Men do not like the idea of men that they think are beneath them, or should be beneath them if the community was intact, because they're producers or providers or whatever. They don't like the idea of those men having access to their women. And like I said, those men will rub it in. They will let you know that not only motherfucker, I'm on par with you because I can pull the bitches that you pull. You know what I mean? Which is what that guy said on the Kevin Samuel show. I mean, I get 10s, man, so I'm high value, man. It ain't got, as long as I can pull 10s, I'm high value. And I want you to think about how offensive that is for women just for a second. Like, as a woman, you should be offended by that. You know what I'm saying? I've had a couple of educated women I've had to explain that to, when it comes to the guys that they're dealing with. And it's usually in retrospect. They're like, well, I was dating this guy and da-da-da-da-da and blah, 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 blah. And I was like, yeah, he thought he was on par with you. Like, what do you mean he thought he was? Because I'm telling you, that's how guys think. They think that because they can get you or they pulled you, that makes them on par with you. Meanwhile, the stupid thing is she's thinking like she's gaming him, like I'm just going to use this dude as a fuck toy. When I'm like, no, he's thinking he's on par with you because he got you. And you're reinforcing that by being with him. And then, this woman was like, well, damn, if I knew that, I wouldn't have fucked with him like that. If I knew that that's what these dudes were thinking. And so, she's adjusted now. You know what I mean? But, initially, she didn't know. I'm like, you don't, a lot of women don't know how men think because they sit in their little female echo chambers. I'm telling you how men think. If they're beneath you and they pull you, they think, yeah, it's like that guy in that Judge Judy clip, where he was like, I'm me, he's like, I'm me. I don't know if y'all remember that clip. That motherfucker's, I'm me, and that's what they think. I'm me. I was able to pull her because I'm me. I'm just that motherfucker. So what if she got degrees and everything else like that? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just the realest motherfucker, so I was able to pull her. And then again, like I said, not only would I say that, I fucked your bitch off for the strength of nothing, they'll look at a guy that also is accomplished, let me use that word, and they'll sit there and be like, yeah, motherfucker, you ain't no better than me. I can go out here and I can pull the same type of bitches that you could pull. I can pull the same type of caliber of women that you could pull, whether it's on looks or a combination of looks and career or whatever, usually it's whatever, like, status or something that this dude doesn't have. And he will sit there and he will say that. And I'm saying, what do you say to that? What do you say to that? Like even a woman that, like, let's say like you could bring everybody into the courtroom, and the woman that you were dating, and this dude, he fucked her too, that motherfucker comes in the courtroom and he's like, yeah, I'm on par with all you motherfuckers. And you sitting there, and as a guy, you're like, okay, I didn't bring this dude into the picture, you did. And then you look at, like, you feeling some way at the guy, like, damn, did I really get mixed up with a chick that this is the type of motherfucker that she fools with? And then not only that, he's literally in there bragging about how not only he's on par with the dude, but he's on par with her too. And I'm like, and whose fault is it for letting this motherfucker think this shit? You gonna put that on me? You gonna put that on the EL? You know what I'm saying? I didn't bring him into the room. I didn't make that happen. You know what I mean? But now you got this dude out here, ain't got nothing going on, but yet he thinks he's on par with you, and he thinks he's on par with me. And he's, running around bragging about how he got you off of the strength of nothing, which is not only an insult to me, it's an insult to you. And you let that happen. You let it happen. This ain't got nothing to do with me. This has everything to do with the fact that you fuck with this low quality dude. Now, on the flip side, if some stripper magically shows up and starts talking about how, SWP, he was in these guts, bitch, and how my pussy juice tastes, and how my spit tastes, and all that other stuff, and she's saying some foul shit to you, then that's on me. I fucked up. I brought some ratchet ass, chick into the building because, I don't know, maybe she had thick thighs or she was looking good that particular night. You know what I'm saying? But, dudes have a way of letting women that they fuck with know, and this is why they can get in trouble a lot of times, that, chick, you ain't wifey material. No, I'm not leaving my wife or whatever, and I'm not advocating for cheating on your wife, but I'm just saying, like, that happens all the time. Again, Kev pointed this out as well. Like, that's how that situation, the side chick is the side chick. Right? That's why you had that Cash Doll song where she was like, motherfucker, I will come and find you, right? That song. Right? Where she was playing like she was Vita and Keisha from Belly, you know, it had the little back and forth, you know, on that chick on the other side, right? So yeah, like if a dude is doing that, like yeah, that's equally as fucked up. That's on the dude. You know, I'm just saying, like, a lot of women, they don't know how men think. Like, men can pick up on when a woman thinks, like, I'm on par. Like, you see that shit? That's like a running meme in movies and shit, where the mistress thinks she's on par with the wife, and then the dude has to check her about the shit. And then usually she'll do something scandalous, like call the wife at her job or something and be like, I've been sleeping with your husband for the past 9 months. You know, that type of shit, some jealousy type shit. You know, but I feel like a lot of sisters don't recognize, you know, that when they go out here and they're messing with these dudes, and let's say she's out there thinking that I got degrees, I'm this, I'm that, and everything. These dudes are thinking they're on par with the woman. I pulled you, so therefore, you know, we're on par with one another. You know, and I'm on par with, you know, whatever better quality you get with in the future, because I had you. I was up in them guts. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just telling you how men process this shit, how they think about the shit. And so, like, when you see these ego battles between men, like, this is what goes on with these ego battles. I had her, you know, so I'm on par. You know, and it's like damn. And what do you say to that as a guy? What do you say when a woman, you know, is looking you in the face? Yeah, you fucking lame. You know, that's why I'm out here fucking with these men that don't positively contribute to the community in any way and aren't going to, and don't even have the capacity to do so. You know, just shit. I don't understand that whole shitting on your builders thing. I'll never understand it. I'm like, you don't shit on your builders. I get it. They're corny, they're lame, he's short, he doesn't work out. I get it. He doesn't have any game, he's socially awkward. I get it. You just don't need to shit on him. Stop shitting on them so much that these motherfuckers want to leave the goddamn community. Damn, you don't do that. You don't shit on builders. Stop it. You know, like you're shooting, and again, you're shooting yourselves in the foot. Then when these women, you know, don't get anything out of the Dusty or Pookie, then they turn around and start talking about why some EL should be checking for them, and then when they're not, they're screaming colorism or some other ism or something else. I'm like, nah, the EL he's already made a character model of you. He's already put you in his, whatever box he's put you in his mind, that you don't have any fucking value, or that you're used up or whatever. He's already put you that label on you. So he's not going to see value in you. He's not ever going to see value in you. That's why that box is dangerous. And that shit is like a slippery slope. You can slide into that box so easily. You know, which is why women got to be careful. I'm saying, if you want to go out there, you want to fuck, suck, do your dirt, okay, be discreet about your shit. I'm not one of these, you know, I serve the Most High and Jesus and Christianity and Yahweh, and no woman should be giving up herself to any man. I'm realistic. I understand people be out here fucking, okay, but the part that I cannot wrap my head around is, I'm like, why y'all having these dudes babies? And then the other part is, why do I know about who you're fucking with? I should know about who you fuck. I shouldn't even see you. You know what I'm saying? I should be coming into the situation clueless. You know what I mean? I don't know who you fuck with, who you get down with. I mean, when you meet a chick that you know she gets down, but like you don't have no details on the shit. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't do anything but like salute. Like I'm just like, you know what I mean? I know she be out here just whatever, but like you can't put your finger on it. So the only thing that you're doing is speculating at that point. And that's all I should be able to do, is speculate. I should not be able to sit there and identify, you know, like, you know, who this chick has been, and then tally up the numbers. Like, no, wrong orientation. No. Keep that shit to your motherfucking self. You know, but anyway, let me get out of here. That's my video. SWP out.